Hello and welcome. You're watching The Buck Stops Here and I'm Bhagat. On the program today, the big political story continues to be the debate around nationalism. Hours after the BJP, in a political resolution, declared that nationalism was going to be the party's driving force, Congress Member of Parliament Shashi Tharoor seems to have stirred a controversy because of his speech at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. There, addressing students in a long, more than 40-minute speech, it was one sentence that seems to have grabbed all the headlines. A sentence where he drew an analogy, a metaphorical one, between Bhagat Singh and Kanhaiya Kumar, the JNU student leader charged with sedition. Shashi Tharoor said that perhaps Bhagat Singh was the Kanhaiya Kumar of his time in a long speech that spoke about how it is vital to debate what exactly is nationalism and what exactly is anti-nationalism. On the program today, we are going to look at that very question. But before that, an excerpt from the Shashi Tharoor speech that's grabbing all the headlines and the public debate, with the BJP even demanding an apology from him.
We leave it to the courts to decide what is sedition and what is not sedition. But in the meantime, we in Parliament have an obligation to change the law, and I believe we should stand up for it and amend the Sedition Act. Jawaharlal Nehru, for whom your university is named, said this is an obnoxious law, and the sooner we get rid of it, the better. As you know, the biggest victims of the sedition law under the British were Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Annie Besant,
Bhagat Singh.
Bhagat Singh. Yeah, Bhagat Singh was the Kanhaiya Kumar of his time.
So cheers from the students of Jawaharlal Nehru University and an angry BJP demanding an apology. Nationalism has now clearly become a political battlefield. Almost every day on prime time, it is what the political discourse is focusing on. And in fact, on this question, as we look at the Shashi Tharoor controversy, the bigger question, of course, is whether this is the BJP's political mantra in an election year. And has the BJP replaced Hindutva with nationalism as its new mantra, perhaps a more acceptable mantra? On the face-off on the Buck Stops Here tonight, Union Minister Prakash Javadekar is joining us, and Shashi Tharoor, who finds himself in the headlines yet again, Congress leader, is also with us. Let me start with you, Prakash Javadekar. When the BJP now actually talks about nationalism in its political resolution at the National Executive, can we take it to mean that nationalism is no longer about a sentiment for the country? Nationalism for the BJP is now also part of electoral strategy.
No, it's not electoral strategy. It is our article of faith and our identity. Right from days of Jansang, we fought for Kutch, for boundary issue with Pakistan. Our founder president, Shama Prasad Mukherjee, died on the very issue of national integration, the Kashmir issue, and there was a passport and there was permission required to go into Kashmir. He was minister, but still he went without that permission and he was arrested and he died in that. So, right, every agitation we have done has the basis of nationalism. That is our ethos, that is our identity, that is why we are here. That is why we are in politics. It's not only, it has never been an electoral politics. Nationalism is one thing which we will never compromise on.
But Prakashji, is it fair to say that in today's modern India, Hindutva or beef politics may not have resonance? We've just seen the horrible tragedy in Jharkhand, but this is not something that modern India relates to. But the BJP may have calculated that nationalism as a slogan works better, has more respectability, more legitimacy than Hindutva. Otherwise, how do we explain that the BJP today is talking about nationalism at its national executive? The BJP president himself is talking about Bharat Mata Ki Jai. The finance minister is talking about it. We've never before seen nationalism made such a political battlefield as we're seeing today, which gives people the impression that the BJP is calculating that this works as an electoral slogan as well.
Sorry, Barkha, the whole freedom struggle, thousands of people died were hanged and they chanted slogan Bharat Mata Ki Jai. They chanted slogan Vande Mataram. These are the two slogans which are paramount important to India, and it's a part of our whole history, freedom fighting history. And so I am ashamed that in 21st century now we are raising a debate on it. This is not to be debated. People give this slogan with pride in their heart for the nation, and Constitution is very clear that India, that is Bharat. So Bharat is an official name, and to hail Bharat and to refuse hailing Bharat, the issue is not every day you are chanting Jai Bharat Mata Ki Jai at every moment. But on occasion when you do that, somebody says that I refuse to hail India is an antidote. And what is problem is you refer to Jharkhand. Aberrations, we condemn all such aberrations. The issue is that that is not nationalism. Nationalism is patriotism, and that is the basis for all. Nationalism should not be construed in the Western European terminologies, because there they think that it's a parochial concept. No, this is not. This is nationhood, and it is accepted by everybody.
No, my point, Prakash ji, in referring to Jharkhand and beef politics was that my own sense is that the BJP may have politically calculated that while Hindutva, beef politics, Mandar politics no longer has resonance, nationalism today is a much more, is a construct on which it's easier to create a political consensus. But Shashi Tharoor, you actually went to JNU and you said, let's thank the government for its overreaction on JNU because we're debating nationalism. Prakash Javadekar suggests that it's shameful to even debate it. But let me straight first away ask you on your controversial comment, one sentence in that 40-minute plus speech that Bhagat Singh was the Kanhaiya Kumar of his time, the BJP demanding an apology, your own party shuffling its feet and not standing by you on that remark.
Well, look, it was obviously, as you can hear from the tape, it was a throwaway remark in response to prodding from an audience member. And when you are addressing a group of lively, attentive students, there will be some of this. It was the allusion was simply because Bhagat Singh, like Kanhaiya Kumar, was a Marxist atheist in his 20s who cared passionately about the motherland. The allusion stops there. Historical eras are different. The whole issue is different. But let us not debate Bhagat Singh today. Let's debate nationalism, which is what this debate was supposed to be all about. I agree with Prakash, these issues are important. But I want to say two things to him. First of all, the kind of nationalism that he and his party are advocating is not the only kind of nationalism there is, and that's where there is legitimate ground for debate. There is a view of the Indian nation that in the BJP's mentality insists on a certain uniformity that reduces the nation to one language, one religion, one discourse. And there is a view of Indian nationhood that is capacious and broad-minded, and that says we are a land of diversity, that every religion has equal rights, that people of every background, every language, every ethnicity, everyone is an equal contributor to Indian civilization, to the Indian polity, and we all have our own ways of living our Indian lives in this country. Now, these are two very distinct views, and there is legitimate ground for disagreement between them. So when Prakash talks about Bharat Mata Ki Jai, the problem is for him and me saying it costs us nothing because we are in our religion used to deifying the mother goddess. But amongst Muslims there are two opinions. There are some Muslims who say there's no problem, we can say Vande Mataram, we can say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, and there are other Muslims who say no, this is a very Hindu chant, it makes my country into a goddess. Ask me to say Jai Hind, I will say it. Ask me to say Hindustan Zindabad, I will say it. Don't ask me to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. And my view of Indian democracy and Indian nationalism is that such a person should also be considered a nationalist, because our democracy gives him or her the right not to say something on demand. Why should we oblige them to say something they don't feel comfortable saying? How do you affirm your nationalism by saying words you don't
Let me get Prakash ji.
Barkha,
Prakash ji, 2 points. One, the
by
homogenization. Prakash ji, one, the homogenization of nationalism. Two, Shashi Tharoor saying, why make so much controversy over my one throwaway remark that basically spoke about two young men in different times and different contexts, Bhagat Singh and Kanhaiya, and the BJP today demanding an apology from him on that, whereas he's saying my emphasis was don't homogenize the notions of nationalism. How do you see Shashi's Bhagat Singh remark, one, and two, how do you react to his argument that you're homogenizing nationalism, that everybody's a patriot on their own terms?
First, in my preamble, I did not ask for apology because I thought that the first sentence he will say that I never intend to compare these two, and Kanhaiya is charged under sedition. Bhagat Singh was a patriot who fought against British. This is not a fight giving slogans or organizing martyrdom function of a terrorist who has been hanged by legal process is itself is a very questionable thing. There is always a limit to freedom of expression, and there is always a framework under which it operates. And therefore, somebody who is charged sedition, I thought that Shashi would apologize and start doing that, and therefore I did not ask. But I expect him, because he is a gentleman, he must say that it is not a correct stand. Second, charging homogenization is the worst kind of politics Congress wants to play on the eve of Kerala election to divert attention of Kerala voters. The issue is Modi ji and BJP has always said right from Jansangh days that the country belongs to all its citizens. Their faiths may be different. They may be Hindu, Muslim, Christians, Parsi and Sikhs and others, but we are all one as Indian. We are all one as Bharatiya, and therefore we are one. That is our concept. We never talked of Hindi, Hindu, that is not our thing.
Yeah.
It's a more encompassing Hindustan of 125 crore people. But he has become now politician because in Kerala, BJP's growth and Congress has a challenge, and therefore now they are taking refuge in such arguments.
Let me first bring in Shashi. Shashi says, Prakash Javadekar says, you're a gentleman, so the first thing you must do is to apologize for what he believes is a misplaced comparison between Bhagat Singh and Kanhaiya. He's being polite, but the other BJP leaders have actually said, if Kanhaiya is Bhagat Singh, what are Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi? Do you believe on reflection that the analogy was inappropriate or the words were not chosen carefully?
No, look, the words were certainly not chosen carefully, as you can see from the context of the tape, but I still see nothing to apologize for. In all sorts of public discourse, there are various references and allusions made. I've explained to what degree the allusion is in fact valid. Men in their 20s, Marxists, atheists, passionate about their homeland, both charged with sedition. Beyond that, obviously there are huge differences, difference of historical era, differences of which part of the country they're from, differences in the outcomes. Bhagat Singh was hanged. Kanhaiya Kumar certainly will not be. I mean, there are major differences in all of these contexts. So let us not imply that I said they were identical in any way, because I didn't say that. You can see from the context what was said. But to my mind, this issue of an apology and all of this is a distraction from the substantive arguments I've made, to which the BJP has no real answer. Prakash says he stands for all 125 crore Indians. I'm delighted to hear that. But the problem is that the kind of nationalism the BJP has systematically espoused has given rise to the intolerance of beef politics, for example. Yes, he mentioned the Kerala elections. Let me remind him how 20 Delhi policemen came to Kerala House because somebody reported that the canteen menu had announced beef fry. I mean, this is the kind of politics of intolerance the BJP is unleashing. How on earth can he truly say this embraces every Indian community and every Indian minority when they are made to feel somehow unwanted by this kind of politics?
Prakash Javadekar, Shashi Tharoor says, my words No, but he's saying he doesn't need to apologize because he was not making a literal comparison, and you are the one, by picking on his Bhagat Singh sentence, who's distracting from the real debate. So he's not going to apologize. That much is clear, because he's saying don't literalize what I said. Don't literalize what I said. It was not a literal comparison, and I'm not going to say sorry.
Let me tell you, if he is not apologizing, it is his choice, but country has also its choice. It has condemned him, and Congress has distanced from it. So it has already, he is on the wrong foot, and he is still defending. That's wonder. The original issue again, the nationalism has to be the base of all parties, and it was. Only Muslim League was fighting on the for creation of Pakistan, and they voted for creation of Pakistan, and Congress is in alliance with that forces. We are not, and therefore what we are saying is that nationalism has to be seen, and every country, it should not be seen in the context of how Europeans think, but how India thinks. It's about nationhood. It's about all people living together. It is one country, one people. One people is all 125 crore people, equal footing, equal rights and equal duties.
Prakash Javadekar, can I ask you something? Suppose you meet somebody who says to you, I'd rather say Jai Hind than Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Or suppose somebody says to you, I'll decide if I want to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. I might say Hindustan Zindabad. I might say Inqilab Zindabad. I might, say Sare Jahan Se Acha. Does that make him or her less of a patriot than you? Because you prefer Bharat Mata Ki Jai?
No, but OIC, where the issue started, OIC did not say this. If OIC would have caveated his saying that I will not say this, even if he would have said this, I am ready to say this, he doesn't say. He is deliberately provoking, he is deliberately creating that rift, he is deliberately poisoning the young minds, he really intentfully misguiding the youths of this country. I know that there are less followers for him, but still, when you give slogans like this, even JNU slogans, disintegration doesn't happen by slogans, but slogans create that atmosphere, slogans create some followers, and ISIS also was built upon slogans first, and then they started action, and therefore disintegration of country cannot be tolerated. Integrity and unity of the country is foremost, and not saying Jai Bharat, Bharat Mata Ki Jai is in a way disrespect to the constitution.
Shashi, you spoke at your JNU sort of address about how
can I just briefly respond to that?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Sorry, just on that, Barkha, the fact is that the Constitution doesn't mention Bharat Mata Ki Jai. The Constitution doesn't mention even Vande Mataram. We have certain conventions and certain values in our society that we want to promote, and we find these are useful ways of doing so. But part of the values we are promoting in our country include the value of democratic dissent, and we should not be judging. I remember there was a controversy a few years ago about somebody refusing to stand up for Vande Mataram, and that person said, I will stand up for Jai Hind, for Jana Gana Mana, because it's the national anthem, but I don't have to stand up for Vande Mataram, and it became a huge controversy. I think we should be a little more tolerant in our nationalism, because India is far too strong a country to be destroyed by whether somebody shouts Bharat Mata or not, whether somebody stands for Vande Mataram or not, whether somebody actually shouts irresponsible slogans as a misguided student in a university.
I am really
These
shocked.
are not things that should occupying the minds of our ministers. They have more important things to do to our country and for our country.
Prakash Javadekar, you're saying you're really shocked. Prakash Javadekar, you're saying you're really shocked. Why are you shocked?
Yes, Barkha.
Yeah. Why are you shocked, Prakash
Barkha,
Javadekar?
I am shocked to hear this rationale from person like Shashi Tharoor, because where the controversy started was OIC's speech, in which he has not said that I will say Jai Hind, I will say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, I will say Bharat Jindabad or anything. He says, I will not say, we refuse to say, and I will never say, and never say, and never say. But what you will say, he doesn't say, because there is a political intent in what OIC says. Congress earlier never used to support such people. Congress never used to
But
support
Prakash
fringe
Mr. Javadekar,
politics. But
Prakash
now
ji,
in
Prakash ji,
desperation,
let me ask you a question.
now in desperation, they are justifying
Yeah.
everything that fringe is given slogans where they are talking.
But Prakash ji,
हम
Prakash ji,
शर्मिंदा है,
Prakash ji, are you saying-
अफजल हम शर्मिंदा है, तेरे कातिल जिंदा है. They are justifying by their presence there, and they are giving legitimacy to the slogan. भारत के
प्रकाश जी,
टुकड़े होंगे इंशाल्लाह
प्रकाश जी,
इंशाल्लाह, जंग चलेगी भारत के
प्रकाश जी,
बर्बादी
प्रकाश
तक.
जी.
और then they are saying that no, they have to say very clearly only one sentence that we don't approve. Yesterday Shashi Tharoor spoke that some of the slogans were not correct, but that is not a correct
Yes, he did say that.
expression. You have to condemn it thoroughly, and you have to say that this is not acceptable. This is unacceptable in country.
I'll get Shashi Tharoor to
slogans
respond to
of
that.
Dismemberment of this.
1 minute, sir.
Listen,
1
I mean,
minute,
the
sir.
point
1
is
minute.
that
I'll get
to
Shashi Tharoor to
conflate-
respond to that. Shashi, 1 second. Let me just get a question into Prakash Javadekar. Prakash Javadekar, I will get Shashi Tharoor to respond to that. But my question to you, you're currently in last lap of talks with the PDP, where Mufti Saab actually wrote a letter saying that the execution of Afzal Guru was going to be one of the negative references in Kashmir's painful history. Those talks are going on. Mehbooba Mufti is in Delhi. Point 1. Point 2, Asad Owaisi did, if I remember correctly, end one of his parliament interventions saying Jai Hind. So are you saying if Owaisi were to say, मैं Jai Hind बोलूंगा, मैं भारत माता की जय नहीं बोलूंगा, this controversy would end? Because that's all people are asking. People are asking for the right to choose their own slogans among these many nationalist slogans. Prakash Javadekar.
The issue is he knew it, but he deliberately, Owaisi is doing a politics when he says such things. He knows he can say Jai Bharat or he can say Jai Hind, but he is not interested in creating that atmosphere of conciliation. What he wants is deliberate confrontation, and that is his politics. Unfortunately, this fringe politics has been condemned by all other socialist groups also and others also, but only Congress, in their desperation of defeat, is supporting such elements. That is the paradox of this present day politics.
Shashi
No, I'm
Tharoor,
sorry,
I
there
think
is
what
a
a lot
very
of people are
important
taken
distinction
aback
to
by.
be made here.
Okay,
There's
go
a very
ahead, go
important
ahead.
distinction. I'm prepared to concede. Very often in our politics, principles are used to mask political opportunism. I'm prepared to concede there may well have been political opportunism involved on the part of my friend Asad Owaisi. But the fact still is that doesn't dilute the principle. The principle is one that you cannot oblige an Indian to prove his nationalism by saying something he doesn't want to say. I am sure that if asked, Owaisi will say Jai Hind. I don't think there's a problem that any Indian has with that. The problem is not that.
Why
The
you are
problem is that
why
we
you are
conflating
promoting
a
him?
number of things.
He has not said so.
I'm not promoting him. We are contesting against
He has
him,
not said so.
Prakash. I'm not promoting any other party but my own. I'm just saying very clearly that in your remarks you were conflating slogans that Kanhaiya Kumar never said, slogans that Asad Owaisi hasn't said, and mixing it up with this question of Bharat Mata Ki Jai. The truth is that those anti-national slogans about breaking up India and so on, the court has yet to establish who said them and what actually happened. And very frankly, as far as I'm aware, there is a theory that there were outsiders who came into the campus and shouted these slogans. So let the facts be established.
Shashi, but I have a question for you. I have a question for you.
Prejudge it.
But Shashi, there's a question for you. And the fact is that a lot of people are looking at people like you, people like P. Chidambaram, as kind of individual, lonely liberal voices in your party. Your party has distanced itself from your own analogy between Bhagat Singh and Kanhaiya today, however metaphorical it may have been and non-literal. You've seen Ghulam Nabi Azad and Meme Afzal's comments. 1. 2, the Congress was involved in supporting the suspension of Waris Pathan from the Maharashtra Assembly for refusing to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. So for most people, the Congress is a mini-me version of the BJP on this nationalism debate. Your party's got cold feet even if you haven't individually.
Well, there seem to be two versions of exactly what happened in the Maharashtra Congress. I have read a version from a Maharashtra Congress source that says that resolution of suspension was carried by a voice vote without consulting the opposition, so that Congress did not in fact go along with it very consciously. But even if they did so, even if
But
the
the Congress
Maharashtra
asked for an
legislature
apology.
party of the Congress
The
did so,
Congress asked for an
there
apology.
was
Vicky
no
Patil.
there was no national.
Shashi, the
They
Congress
were
asked
part of
Paris
the
Patel
debate.
to apologize.
They were part of the debate.
Yes, they
Well,
were.
then there are many voices
Shashi.
in the Congress because I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I said there are
And
many
are you
voices in the
disappointed,
Congress like
Shashi,
Mr.
that
Chidambaram. I too don't agree with that.
Okay, but are you disappointed that the Congress is not has distanced itself from your remarks on Kanhaiya today? They're not willing to come out and bat for you.
Because it's, I think, completely unfair of the media to take one sentence out of context and make that the focus of the speech, when any fair-minded person knows that for 37 minutes I spoke about ideas of India, about nationalism, about our history, our civilizational record of tolerance and diversity. It was a speech that covered a number of serious issues that the students engaged with and were attentive to. Many may not even have taken this particular remark seriously. It was in no way central to the thrust of my remarks. So to somehow reduce my entire speech to one aside, as it's called in theatre, an aside remark, and make that as if something the party should react to, I don't see why the party has any obligation. Ask the party if they agree with me on the vision of Indian nationalism and Indian democracy that I portrayed, and I'm sure my party will agree with me.
Okay, now last comments from both of you
let
quickly.
me tell
Prakash
you,
Javadekar, I just want to
Barkha,
read-
Barkha,
Yes.
Barkha, even Prime Minister Narendra Modi appreciated Shashi Tharoor's speech given in British Parliament because that was completely
Yes.
a different manifestation of things. But what now he is saying is completely dominated by the political and vote considerations in Kerala politics, and this is unfortunate. We appreciate when
Okay.
it is appreciable, and we condemn when it has to be condemned.
Okay, I'm giving both of you 30 seconds each for
Okay,
final comments. Prakash Javadekar, 1 minute. Prakash Javadekar, Bhagat Singh also said, the Bhagat Singh we're talking about today, bombs and pistols do not make revolution. The sword of revolution is sharpened on the whetting stone of ideas. Are we not shrinking ideas by reducing nationalism to one slogan, Bharat Mata ki Jai, ki jo kahe wo patriot, jo na kahe, jo Jai Hind kahe wo non-patriot? Prakash Javadekar, 30 seconds yours and then Shashi.
We have not said, no, we have not said that is the only criteria of patriotism and unpatriotism. We have not said. What we have said is, it is disrespect to Constitution because Constitution has said India, that is Bharat, and not hailing India or Bharat is definitely unacceptable. So to that extent we are saying it is not about one slogan.
Okay.
It is about idea of India. It
Okay.
is about the whole ethos and remembering the whole freedom fight.
Shashi Tharoor, very quickly, last word.
Well, it seems that there are two ideas of India, and we have articulated an idea of India which we stand by, which this constitution was based on, and which 70 years of Indian democratic practice have enshrined. And now it seems there is another idea of India being promoted, which is narrow-minded, which promotes bigotry and intolerance, and which sadly has introduced acid tests and litmus tests for what makes a true Indian nationalist. We disagree. We believe we are as proud of the flag as anybody in the government, but that flag stands for a broader vision of Indianness, a more humane idea of diversity and dissent in our democracy, and we fight for the rights of people to say Bharat Mata ki Jai and the right not to say it. That is the India we stand for, and I believe all India must stand for.
And both of you have the Indian flag behind you, but I do have to say that I personally believe that patriotism can be negotiated by the citizen on her own terms. Prakash Javadekar, slight disagreement with you saying that people can't choose their own slogans, but you're saying it's not about one slogan, but many people in your party are saying that it is about that one slogan. But one thing's for sure, this debate is going to continue in election year. We leave it there. Prakash Javadekar, Shashi Tharoor, pleasure to have you both on the Buck Stops here.